carnage on Britain's roads.
They've just had a road traffic collision.
Danger around every corner.
There are significant injuries. So, patient breathing.
Motorcyclist versus car, he was hit from behind.
Every 16 minutes, someone is killed or injured.
Stay with me, look at me.
When you get behind the wheel,
Hello, 53.
your life is in your hands.
Can I put a trauma alert to Rhesus coming by air?
And if things go wrong,
Steady, lift.
elite trauma teams pick up the pieces. University Hospital Coventry tackles some of the most extreme cases in the country.
What's happened?
You're in hospital.
Last thing I can see was a tractor and I ploughed into it.
I don't remember what happened.
Her car's ended up on its roof.
From crash scene
Where's it hurting?
Oh, down my side.
to A&E
Until we get a CT scan, I need you to stay nice and still.
Patients can die from this.
and emergency surgery.
This may not be a reconstructible injury. She could lose her hand.
If we can't stop him bleeding, he won't survive.
I honestly thought he was dying.
We follow the medics battling to save the lives of casualties.
Oh, my life!
Injured on Britain's deadly roads.
You never think it's going to be your kids.
Tonight, a cyclist's collision leaves him with critical injuries.
It can continue to bleed, and it might be life-threatening.
Emergency surgery for a teenager after a mountain bike crash.
Unfortunately, the skull bone is digging into the brain.
And a motorcyclist gets taken out in a smash.
He had a head-on collision.
He's come face to face with a light goods vehicle. Hello, Coventry Research.
Trauma at the ED Research, ETA 15 minutes.
11:50 a.m. Male cyclist, 55. Thrown from road bike at speed. Helmet on. Unconscious in ditch.
Is everyone in position?
Do you know where you are now? Do you remember anything what happened?
You know who he is?
This is Darren. We believe he's about 55. He has been cycling down a country lane near Kettering between 20 and 30 miles an hour. It sounds as though the front wheel of his bike has then clipped the grass verge, then he's taken off over the handlebars and has ended up down in the ditch. Main concern from our side of things is head.
Hello there, Darren. My name's Paul. I'm just going to do a little top-to-toe assessment of you, okay? So that primary survey, there's a lot of things happening. Lots of people are descending upon the patient, and we're looking at what's the immediate threat. Any pain, Darren, when I'm pressing at all? Possibly a bit of left-sided tenderness. Otherwise, no obvious bruising to abdomen, soft. Any pain in your legs at all, Darren? No. Good. From my point of view, no obvious findings from the neck downwards. I think it's everything head upwards.
Yeah.
When somebody has an accident at speed, even if you're wearing a helmet, it might not actually protect you from a severe head injury. Blunt force head trauma can occur when basically there is like acceleration, deceleration, or sort of twisting forces involved with the brain inside the skull, and that can cause some damage to the blood vessels inside, which could lead to simple things such as concussion, but it could be a severe bleed on the brain. It could even result in death.
Although Darren's injuries are unclear, doctors quickly need to find out his blood type in case he needs emergency surgery.
Well done. Just doing some blood tests, Darren, okay? Then what we're going to do, we're going to get you into our CT scan from your head down to your pelvis and just see what injuries you've got, okay? You guys ready? Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Darren.
Darren?
You'll be sick.
Darren, we're going to get you some anti-sickness medications, okay?
You'll be sick.
Okay.
What happens when a cyclist comes off their bike? Over 5,500 cyclists were killed or seriously injured on Britain's roads last year. And a blow to the head is one of the most common causes of injury. But less than half of all UK cyclists wear a helmet. And what seems like a minor injury can have a major impact. Memory loss, a change in behaviour, and epilepsy are all a result of blunt force head trauma, and all of which can affect brain function for life. Darren was wearing a helmet, but the extent of his injuries are yet to unfold.
Hello, recess.
Incoming. Teenager. Mountain bike crash. Emergency brain surgery.
He hit his head quite severely on the left side. So the scan shows that he has a broken skull bone, and unfortunately the skull bone is digging into the brain.
The patient is 17-year-old Rich. He was riding home at night when he crashed, without wearing a helmet.
He came home early hours in the morning and he had a little cut on the side of his head. Our house to the hospital, it's only a 5-minute drive, and midway through the journey he became unresponsive to my questions. He looked like a zombie, and then he went into a seizure, and I honestly thought he was dying.
So what we are going to do now is craniotomy, which means removal of the fractured part of the skull, looking underneath it, see if the brain is doing well or not. Then we will try to put everything back. Here we are looking at the head from above, so this is what we call axial cuts, and here we are looking at the head from front. Okay, so on the right side you can see that the bone is intact, which is the white line, and you can see that is not on the left side. So this is where the broken bone is. Also, these white dots tell me that there is a contusion or bruises to the brain, and that was caused by the broken bone, and he needs the surgery to elevate that depressed fracture. That part of the bone of the skull is the thinnest part, so it's quite common to see that.
Had he worn a helmet, none of this would have happened.
It's a neurosurgery operation which carries risks.
And those risks could have life-changing consequences.
A leak of the fluid around the brain might lead to an infection, meningitis, horrible.
Coming up, time-critical surgery for Rich's shattered skull.
Removing the bone can cause massive bleeding and permanent damage.
The impact of Darren's accident becomes real.
This could continue to bleed, put pressure on the brain, and have more neurological consequences for him.
Car smashes into motorbike, leaving a patient fearing for his future.
If we don't pick up on it, then it could be fatal.
Great British roads. Danger around every corner. 25,000 people seriously injured every year. For survivors, injuries can be life-changing. University Hospital Coventry is tackling some of the most extreme cases. 17-year-old male. Mountain bike crash. No helmet. Life-saving brain surgery. Rich cracked his head on crashing.
Superior part of the...
He needs a complex operation to repair his fractured skull. And there's a risk of permanent brain damage.
When you're trying to find the bone defect, removing the bone can cause massive bleeding, and that sometimes causes permanent damage.
Male cyclists are 5 times more likely to be killed or seriously injured than females. Teenagers are 11 times more at risk, with less than 1 in 3 likely to wear a helmet. almost half of those injured not wearing a helmet sustain a severe traumatic brain injury.
I've never seen anyone have a seizure before, and seeing it with someone you love and you deeply care about, you just feel helpless.
Rich has what's known as a compound fracture, where the bone breaks through the skin.
The scalp has a laceration, so there's a chance of infection, and that's the first thing we need to prevent.
We are clean to go.
So what we are injecting now is the local anesthetic. So now we will start opening the skin. Can I have the knife, please?
So we are connecting the already existing laceration to our incision so that we don't create any further scars.
We've seen the damage that happened to the subcutaneous tissue and the muscle.
And the muscle.
Thank you.
So we can definitely see some clots in here, just under the skin.
40 to 50% of all the traumatic brain injury is after road traffic accidents. During an accident, the brain is moving inside the skull bone back and forth, and this shaking causes injury to the underlying brain tissue.
That is one of the temporal fascia, as we say, covering the temporal muscle. It should all be one white layer like this. But you can see a small tear here in the fascia and a big tear through which the temporal muscle is pouching out.
Can I have dry swab, please? This is so we open the skin, we make the flap, and this is the muscle, and you can see the injury to the muscle. Then what we've done is we elevated the muscle, so this is the bone, okay, and this is the fracture of the bone here. This is the broken part of the bone, and we are trying to elevate it.
This is a delicate job.
Give me a forceps, please.
This is part of it.
Preserve this.
Suction, please. It's broken into 3 pieces.
Ideally, we would like to put his own bone back. That's the ideal situation. But because the bones are so thin and broken in multiple places, we can't hold them.
With no way of saving Richard's broken skull bone, the team will need a more radical plan. 52-year-old road cyclist Darren, thrown off bike, helmet on, but suspected brain injury.
Do you know where you are now?
Only a CT scan can reveal the full extent of the damage.
Anyone with a head injury where there's sort of a bit of confusion, you've got to just take the precautions just to make sure there's no further injuries anywhere else. And then we're going to slide across onto the table on the command slide. Everyone happy? Yep. Ready, brace, slide.
He does, I think, the minimum of, on a short run, 40 miles. And then Saturday mornings he goes out early with a group. And on Sunday he goes out.
Darren, can you take a nice deep breath in and out for me? Good. As the scan's being done, we kind of get real-time imaging sort of coming back to us.
LCT?
So given the fact he was suspecting that he's got a head injury, trying to see if there's any obvious kind of bleeding points. I'm just a little bit suspicious of this little white dot here, which might represent a small bleed in the head. And it might be as to why he's a bit confused and not quite with it. There is a potential that it could continue to bleed. It could then put pressure on the brain, which then could have more kind of neurological consequences for him, and it might be life-threatening.
You won't be going out tomorrow. Sorry?
Yeah, Tuesday.
No, Saturday.
Saturday.
What, you knew what day it was?
Every year, more than 16,000 motorcycle accidents happen on Britain's roads, with 1 in 3 riders suffering serious injury. Your odds of dying in a motorbike accident are 50 times more than in a car.
Ambulance service. What's happened?
Crash. There's a motorbike and a van.
Motorbike and a van, okay.
New patient incoming. 38-year-old male motorcyclist. High impact collision with van. Injuries. Possible broken pelvis.
So this is Robin, he's 38, he was a motorcyclist with all of his protection on. He's come round a corner and come face to face with a light goods vehicle. Frontal and side impact. He's complaining of pelvic pain and left toe pain.
Hi Robin, I'm Paul, one of the doctors there. So I'm just going to quickly check you over, Robin. Alright, I'm just going to have a look. Take a deep breath for me. All the way in far as you can go. Any pain? Good. So where does it hurt in your pelvis?
Left side.
Left side.
Yeah, there.
So what happened, Paul?
So coming round the corner, obviously I heard a screech of brakes. The van took me out basically. I've hit his bonnet, I think.
How fast were you going?
I was only doing about 20 miles an hour around that corner. He was coming the opposite way, so I don't know how fast he was going.
What happens when two vehicles collide? It's not just about how fast one is going. It's the combined speed at which one approaches the other that determines the force of impact. This is known as the closing speed, and the higher this is, the more devastating the consequences. Robin might have only been doing 20 miles per hour, but if the other vehicle was also doing the same, the closing speed and impact at which he was hit would be 40 miles per hour, enough to cause serious injury.
Were you thrown over the vehicle?
Yeah, what I can remember, I saw the van bonnet and then a bit of a blackout.
Okay.
There's a risk that Robin has broken his pelvis, so the team prepare him for a CT scan. He needs to be moved carefully to avoid further damage.
Some patients can have serious life-threatening injuries. They're not always obvious or apparent initially. One of the things to look for, as well as broken bones, is internal bleeding, which is a silent killer. It doesn't always get picked up in the initial assessment. So I've taken him into resus to be properly monitored while we wait for the scan to come back. And if we don't pick up on it, then it can be quite fatal.
Rich was thrown from his mountain bike without a helmet. He's having emergency brain surgery to repair his cracked skull. Surgeons have found the smashed bone, but it's too fragile to save.
This is the bone that was broken and digging inside the brain. So it was broken into 3 pieces, and this is what we removed. So we will try to replace that bone with something artificial.
The most common material used to repair skulls is titanium.
Can I have a marker, please?
Because it's so compatible with the human body.
This is a titanium mesh. So what we will do is we will cut this to tailor it, and we can replace the bone that's been broken. So this is the size of the defect. So now we start to cut this one. Thank you so much. Once you're ready with the screws, let us know, please.
Positioning of the plate is an intricate job.
Okay, another one. Thank you. So this is how it looks. This is the titanium mesh. So now we are stitching the muscle capsule back. This muscle is what we are using in chewing and talking. So this is the muscle that is next to our ear. So we are trying to repair it as much as we can. So Rich will not face problems when he's using his mouth.
It's crucial the team get it right.
Usually in neurosurgery, when we are dealing with the young patient, it's really serious. The capacity of the brain of those young adults to absorb these types of injury are surprisingly less. Infants and the old people, they have more spaces around the brain, and this gives the brain some elasticity and capability to absorb shocks. So in the young adults, the spaces are not there, so any change in the pressure would cause serious damage. Scissors, please. These are the final stages, covering the wound.
It went well according to the plan. When you can do a good repair, then the patient will normally, in cases, do really well.
Although there is always risk, I hope that we have done something to help him.
For Rich's dad, it's been an agonizing few hours.
He's just there, and I can't wait to see him. And not knowing, trying to get information, waiting on the news has been it's torture, to be frank.
Coming up, Darren's bike accident has serious lasting effects.
Something's not right.
Motorbike crash leaves more destruction in its wake.
You can have an occult or hidden injury.
And has emergency brain surgery saved Rich?
Rick, open your eyes.
Great Britain, 340 collisions a day. 1 every 4 minutes. When accidents happen on the 20,000 miles of roads in the West Midlands, University Hospital Coventry steps up. Road cyclist Darren crashed his bike at speed. He was airlifted in and has a bleed on his brain despite wearing a helmet.
Now, because there is that bruising that they've seen on the scan, the neurosurgeons will be having him in hospital, so we will be admitting under the neuro team.
Yeah. So with regards to the bruise, is that like a bleed?
It's like a very, very small bleed. Yeah, it might be that, we need to get another scan of the head in 24 hours' time just to see what's happening with regards to progression of that bruising. I'll be back shortly, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where did that come off?
Apparently you were all going quite fast and you were all coming in line behind each other.
Right.
And then you came flying off front of your bike, and then I think you got knocked out.
No.
It's probably not a bad thing. It's not normally this quiet. Are you?
No. And if it wipes out.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wearing a helmet is obviously that extra layer of protection to potentially avoid fractures, lacerations, abrasions, bits like that.
The helmet saved your life. Oh, he's had little falls, but nothing major. This has been the worst. What are you talking about? You still a bit confused?
No.
You sound it.
He's had all of his scans done now, so we've kind of stabilised him, but he's still going under the neurosurgical team just for close obs, just so that we can make sure that he doesn't deteriorate.
40% of traumatic brain injury cases lose their ability to perform their job. So it's not just a bump on the head. It can also affect whether you're allowed to drive, and if you can be insured. In severe cases, the damage caused to the brain tissue may be long-lasting, affecting victims for a lifetime.
So I imagine he'll probably be in hospital for a little while.
Darren's condition is now at least stable. But for his wife, Jo, he's suddenly a changed man.
He's not shy. He's not quiet and reserved by any means. So it's really strange him being so quiet. Well, hey, we're going to get you cleaned up.
Hi, Darren. My name's Tristan. I'm one of the night nurses.
Right, I'm just going to start on this side now. My only concern was they said to me he'd only had paracetamol, but he was completely out of it. But I think that was obviously the concussion. Oh, it looks so much better. It doesn't it? It looks so much better.
Amazing what a bit of water can do.
Honestly.
We'll be going up to a neuro bed. As soon as the bed becomes available, I'll come and let you know, okay?
He seems really confused at the minute, to be honest. Yeah, he doesn't seem 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
How Darren fares in the next 24 hours is critical. Male motorcyclist, 38. High-impact head-on collision with van. Possible broken pelvis and internal bleeding.
Hello, sir.
You're right, mate.
I'm Ollie. I'm the doctor in this area, resus.
Staff in the emergency department are keeping a close eye on Robin, while doctors rule out any life-changing injuries.
So you went straight into a vehicle?
Yeah, he's come round the corner and he's hit me head on.
Any loss of consciousness?
I think for a few seconds. When I was hit him in the air.
Alright, and did you walk straight after?
No, I was on the floor straight.
You laid still?
Yeah.
Alright. My wife would never let me get on a motorcycle. I see a lot of motorcycle injuries and accidents and the fallout into the families as well. I think that's enough to put me off.
My pelvis groin area is in pain. That's where my bike was hit. It's obviously come back at me. It's manageable pain at the minute, but I am under painkillers.
Robin's fiancée, Karina, had to find care for their young children before rushing to the hospital.
Well, you don't really expect that phone call at that time of the day, and you know, every time you just go out on his bike, I always say, you know, safe journey and things like that, but...
Okay, so what we're going to do, if your pain's okay, we are going to get you down into that scanner.
Okay.
And then we'll take it from there.
Lovely.
Alright. We're going to get him down to the CT scanner, do a full trauma scan, which is a head-to-toe scan, and see what injuries he has.
Ready, set, slide.
But we just have to wait and see. You can have surprises, and there can be an occult or hidden injury that doesn't appear in any of your examinations or in the observations.
So now we're doing full body head to pelvis.
It's an all too familiar situation for Robin's mum, Vivian, who's also just arrived.
His first motorbike accident was with a white van who just ignored a junction and didn't see him. So I think however much you do, bikes are invisible. He's a dad, he's got 3 lovely boys, no more bikes. Sometimes I think it's chosen as a cheaper option, but it's not safe travel, it's just not.
That's all the gear that's just been ripped up.
But what I heard from the witnesses, the front of the van was pretty smashed, so I expect the bike to be.
Right off.
Well, that's the thing today, everyone is in a rush to get where they need to be.
What speed were you going at again?
So I'd slowed down for the corner, so I was doing about 20 or 25. His speed, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about closing speed, yeah. Alright.
So what I heard from the witnesses, I'd done a fair amount of damage to the front of his van. My bike's gone.
Yeah, I think you've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Keen road cyclist Darren crashed while out with his cycling group. Despite wearing a helmet, he has a bleed on the brain.
Let's go.
He's being regularly checked for signs of behavioural abnormalities to see the degree of damage to his brain function, occupational therapy, or assessing his mental state.
What are you after, Darren?
Some milk.
Some milk?
Milk.
Yeah, there we go.
He's really frustrated because in his head he thinks he's fine, but he'll talk to you and it's not really there. It's like his mind and brain is somewhere else, which is really upsetting.
So can you walk me through the last details you remember about the accident?
Don't really know, not bad. It's a bit bad.
You don't really know? So you just woke up and what happened?
I was here.
You woke up and you were here?
Today he's better than yesterday, but I noticed that he's concentrating
Hey, babe, you alright?
How are you?
Alright.
Good. Been for a walk?
Yeah, just get back up to the lift.
Slow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you sleep alright last night?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? Were you feeling a bit better this morning?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let these people come out. I need to slow down a bit, babe.
With Darren still not functioning normally, decisions need to be made on whether he's safe to go home.
We still doesn't remember how the whole thing happened.
We've asked the doctors to do an extra MRI scan because we said the level of the impairment we're seeing doesn't match up with what CT shows. And also when I spoke to his wife this morning, she said that it's a different person to who he was before. So we were a bit concerned. From a risk perspective, we're probably going to say we don't want him to be discharged until we've had that scan cleared. So he's demonstrating some quite unusual behaviours at the moment that aren't consistent with who he was pre-injury, so which makes us think he's likely still in PTA, which is post-traumatic amnesia, where someone's quite confused, quite disorientated, and they can't usually retain information. So you might tell them something, they'll forget it within minutes, within hours.
Have you had a CT scan before?
I don't remember.
You can't remember?
They obviously think that something's not working right. I think it's just taking longer than they thought. It's obviously somewhere in his brain still asleep and it's just not waking up yet. Which is really difficult to watch.
A bleed on the brain can cause quite a wide variety of changes to a person, whether that be cognitive changes or changes to their personality. The frontal lobe is particularly sensitive to bleeds on the brain after an accident, and that area of the brain controls stuff like executive functioning, we call it, so problem solving, planning, organising, inhibiting your behaviour. So impulsive behaviour is quite a common one we see.
Okay, just sit on the side for a minute, gather your bearings.
Brain injuries can be quite distressing for the families of the patient because the person who comes out of hospital is often quite different to the person who went into hospital.
I think this morning was the first day that when I was driving here, and I thought to myself, you know, what if this is it? What if this is how he is now? And I will be fine, and I will deal with it fine. It'll just be a completely different way of living.
Breathing himself. Rick, open your eyes.
Rich had emergency brain surgery after crashing his mountain bike. Surgeons have repaired his fractured skull. They won't know if there's any lasting damage until he wakes up.
We are expecting him to be a bit sleepy. Rich, how are you doing?
Wait.
Okay, brilliant. So can you just move your both hands up in the air? Yes, that's very good. Can you move your both feet?
I'm feeling alright.
You're feeling okay, yeah? The bone that was broken, it was broken in small pieces, so we couldn't put it back. So we removed it, and we bought a titanium mesh. The operation went very well. So now we will keep you under observation, and we hope that the next few couple of days will be okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm waiting for him to come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be a minute now.
For Rich's dad, it's been an agonising few hours.
You okay? So.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm so much better now.
Specialised staff will keep a close eye on Rich for the next few days.
As a teenager, you don't always have a helmet, you know what I mean? It's a silly mistake, but it's something to learn from, obviously, and I most likely will next time, because I don't want another injury like this.
It's been a wake-up call for Rich, and the risk of further complications is still very real. Coming up, it's troubling news for Robin.
you may have had a bit of loss of consciousness. Concussion is certainly a very real possibility.
Fears for Darren's recovery.
He's a little bit more impulsive than he was before, so all of those things can place him at a bit more risk.
Rich's bike accident changes his life forever.
Because of this region of the brain, the incidence of seizures is higher.
Motorcyclist Robin was in a high-impact head-on collision with a van. He was thrown off his bike and over the bonnet. Doctors have been checking him for broken bones, or worse, internal bleeding.
Looking at x-rays of both his thumbs, his wrist and his ankle. All looks fairly intact. I mean, he's young, so that's definitely in his favour.
For Robin and fiancée Karina, it's an anxious wait for news of what lies ahead.
So, nothing broken, pelvis is intact, ankle looks okay, and you are good to escape by whichever means you see fit.
Lovely.
Alright, there is a possibility that you may have a bit of loss of consciousness. What we know is there's no bleed in the head. But concussion is certainly something that is a very real possibility.
Concussion is the sudden loss of mental function that happens after a blow or other injury to the head. It's the most common type of brain injury, and symptoms typically last between 2 to 4 weeks after an accident.
Symptoms of concussion can be irritability, fatigue, inability to concentrate, headache, forgetting things. The basic premise of concussion is returning to normal life slowly and gradually. So we'll get you dressed and we'll get you in a chair, we'll get you home.
Lovely.
All right.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
I think you've been very lucky.
The bike is not so lucky.
Take it easy for a couple of days. All right, regular painkillers, keep yourself well hydrated, and I hope we never meet again in the nicest possible way.
No, thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
He had a head-on collision and he's essentially walking out of here. He's not broken a single bone, he's not suffered any bleeding, and I'm pretty amazed, to be honest. He's a lucky chap. His helmet certainly contributed to saving his life. The leathers that he wears, they make such a big difference for road rash, for serious skin injuries, for degloving injuries on patients, for even for bony injuries. So I think he's well prepared, and that's part of the reason why he walked away from this without a scratch on his body.
It does have a big mental effect on you being in crashes, to be fair, but it still hasn't put me off. I was lucky, very lucky. Not many people get off as lightly as I did.
Almost a week ago, road cyclist Darren crashed into a ditch at speed. Although wearing a helmet, he suffered a bleed on the brain.
We'll see how you feel on the way back as to whether you want to walk. It is quite a little way.
The neuropsychology team are still checking to see how much his brain function has been affected.
So Darren does have some difficulties after his head injury, mainly with what we call executive functioning. He's a little bit more impulsive than he was before, and it's sometimes a bit more difficult for Darren to be aware when he's struggling as well. So all of those things could potentially place him at a bit more risk once he's home.
Be nice to get a bit of fresh air, won't it?
If Darren can manage a busy environment, it will help the team decide if he is safe to go home.
See the zebra crossing?
Yeah. Go across that.
So we're going to go across that, cross the next one, and then we're going to walk through that car park, and then we're going to come back. Okie dokie. When we're looking at people looking to return to work or looking to return to driving, we need to make sure that their cognitive abilities are really back to normal. And can you remember where we started?
Over there.
Okay, you take us back. Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Right. Do you feel that you're getting back to your normal self, or still?
I feel it's coming on.
So you feel things have improved. You feel a bit clearer.
Yeah, lovely.
So we'll let you know what plan we formulate, and we'll go from there. Smashing.
Cheers, thank you. Bye bye.
Seemed like a different person then this morning.
He's very attentive, wasn't he, on the roads? Very good.
I think we just need to have a think with Jo about what support she can offer, because I think if Jo can be home for those first few weeks, and then if we have community brain injury team coming in after that.
Yeah.
Whether Darren can go home will also depend on his latest CT scan.
A new CT scan, and it's quite good, actually, in comparison to the first one.
Lovely. I felt a lot better than my hair. I felt everything's become a lot more. I can understand why I'm here and doing stuff, sort of thing. Lovely. Thanks for your help.
Okay.
But Darren won't be going home until neuropsychologists are satisfied he'll be safe.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to see you both. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Oh, it's a bit of a squeeze. There we go. We're in.
So one of the options we have is to go home.
Yeah.
Jo, it sounds like you would be available a little bit for those first few weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I think going home, I'll see more and be able to assess Darren more to know what he is struggling with.
Doctors will do everything they can to save your life after you are in a road traffic collision, but the rehabilitation of a brain injury persists long beyond your stay in hospital. In severe cases, it can impact all areas of your daily functioning. So it can be a really crucial time for both the patient and their family, because it's when the reality of the injury often hits home.
I think we're both ready for the next step now.
Yeah, we are.
Good luck and all the best for the future.
Cheers, thank you.
Getting back on your bike.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye. We're going home at last.
It's been bizarre, really. I went out on a Saturday for a bike ride, and then suddenly here I am Thursday, still not home. Yes, thank you, babe. Thank you.
Do you think you'll stop cycling now, babe?
Oh.
No. 100% no.
You okay, big boy? All right.
Rich crashed his mountain bike and wasn't wearing a helmet.
You all right?
It's the first time his family have seen him since his life-saving operation to rebuild his fractured skull.
Loads of staples. Where's your ear?
Yeah, I know there is. We've got a titanium sheet there as well.
How you doing?
Right, guys, yeah.
Yeah, good. How are you, mate?
You guys
right?
all right? Yeah.
Yeah?
What we found yesterday was the broken bone on his skull. So we managed to repair it. The muscle was really swollen. I mean, the damage was massive.
I did notice the feeling because I struggled chewing at first.
Exactly. It was crushed between the surface that you hit your head against and the bone.
Yeah.
So we've done a CT today. It looks very good. But because of this region of the brain, the temporal loop, the incidence of having seizures is higher. As the brain has its own electric current inside it, any disturbance of that electric current might lead to convulsions or seizures. We'll keep you on that anti-epileptic, the drugs, and we'll keep you in the hospital for another couple of days until we are sure that
that's fine.
Your neuro-ops are fine, and hopefully we will be thinking of discharge you home maybe by the end of this week.
I mean, all I can say really is I really appreciate the support from all the doctors so far. It means a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the key word is helmet, man, helmet. Right? Helmet.
From now on, you're not leaving house without no helmet anymore. I will glue that helmet on your head. You can sleep with that helmet from now on.
Nah, but of course.
If you or someone you know has been affected by any of the issues raised in tonight's programme, please go to channel5.com/helplines for information and support. Searching for rock-solid evidence to bring drug lords to justice. Join detectives on the case in Police Suspect Number 1, new next Monday at 9. Next Casualty 24/7, every second counts.